You're listening to a podcast on the Podfix Network.
All right, welcome to another episode of Little Bits and Pieces. I am the one who is hosting the episode, Matt Walker, and with me, as always...
Yeah, it's Geoff, Jeffrey.
And I'm Christian Torres.
Great. Nailed it. And we're Wallares, of course, if you aren't privy to that, if you cowboys listening aren't privy to that somehow. We are an improv group, a comedy troupe, if you will. And how are we today, cowboys?
I'm okay.
Wait, whoa, we're cowboys?
I
Wait,
guess
no, the
so.
fans are cowboys. if I'm being honest, I was just thinking about this thematically. I wonder if
Yeah.
our brand is all over the place, because what do cowboys have to do with walruses? You know?
You just started thinking about that?
Well, no, just as you were saying it, I'm like, if people weren't listening to the episode where we establish it, are they going to think like, do cowboys ride walruses?
No,
do
no.
walruses like cowboys?
It's a product of commitment.
It's like long-term viewers are rewarded by...
I also love the notion that us bringing it up initially gave it context, because it did not. I don't remember when it started, but Geoff just said it.
Yeah.
And now it's that's it. I think it was the Geoff Zeum episode. The infamous Geoff Zeum.
That sounds right.
Which was taxed out of existence, by the way. Thank you, President Biden.
Yeah.
He did that.
Is he the president in the metaverse as well?
It's meta
funny
Joe
you
Biden.
say that. The metaverse is actually lawless. There is no... Well, it's martial law, but it's in chaos, so there is only de facto leaders.
There's like warlords in the metaverse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, that sounds like a sick movie, Warlords in the Metaverse.
But yeah, as Geoff alluded, today we're talking about commitment. Commitment to a bit.
I didn't allude to that.
You did. You
said commitment in a weird way. You said it in that way that you say something that you're clearly referencing, but we haven't gotten to yet.
I have a thing that I wink and say things weird with emphasis. That's a thing.
That would have been better if you said emphasis weird and winked, I think. See, that's the commitment we need, Geoff. We need the commitment to the bit.
So this episode is all about how Geoff doesn't commit?
Yeah, this is an intervention for you.
To commit more to the bit?
Yeah, it's a commit intervention. We need you to commit.
Okay. All right, well, you start first. Read the letter you have in your hands.
All right. This is hard for me to read because I am a terrible speller, but also it's very emotionally charged. Dear Jeffrey Lee Fella, this is Matt.
Is that his middle name?
Yeah. Leigh. Is that Lee or Lay?
It's Lee, and this is making me tear up.
All right. Dear Jeffrey Lee Fella, this is Matt, by the way.
Hi,
Matt. I was initially planning on sending this in the mail, and I realized that wouldn't have been effective because you could just stop reading if you didn't like it. The mail-in intervention didn't really take off. As I was saying, this is Matt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the guy who you keep leaving to hang out there to dry when he does something funny and you just surrender the bit. Yeah, you remember, Matt.
I'm just going to stop you. This letter seems to be a lot about you.
Well, I mean, it's how you affect me, right? Can I continue?
Yeah, sorry.
Sure. I was born in St. Petersburg, Florida, to Nancy and Mike Walker, and they were loving parents. So I had a pretty good childhood. The
How many
And-
pages is this letter? I'm
Whoa,
sorry.
whoa,
Just
whoa!
trying to-
That was
No, that was it. I mean, it's 2 pages, but that's because I write big.
Oh. Oh, you really just stopped in the middle of a thought, huh? Just like I was born to Nancy and
well.
Mike
Wait a
Walker.
minute, but I don't even. It's not even
That's
that
how
it
I
was.
sign. That's how I sign all my documents.
But it wasn't even just that it's a thought. I still don't see. I don't feel intervened at all. If anything, I feel more compelled to commit the acts of
No?
bit breaking.
It's not. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Circled around the drain. Well, Christian, would you like to read yours?
Yeah, of course. Attention, Geoff, stop. This is Christian, stop. I haven't eaten lunch today, stop. Starting to feel a little hungry, stop. What do you think I should eat? Stop. Looking forward to lunch, stop. Anyway, you need to be better, stop. 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 Thanks for your time, stop. Christian, stop.
Yeah, I mean a turkey sandwich, but regardless, I don't know. I don't feel intervened at all. I feel
No,
like
I told you I said to be better and to stop.
it maybe
He told you to stop a lot too. Kind of mid thoughts, even.
Wait, that wasn't like a telegram?
Yeah. It's like, see, I was originally planning to send mine as a telegram, but then I decided to just read it.
Wait, but what was your reason for not? Matt's reason was that I could stop reading it. What was your reason to not send it as a telegram?
Oh, I couldn't find a telegram service that was open this late, so.
Yeah, it's okay. That's true. It's fair.
4:00 your time.
Yeah.
I
Well, Geoff, you also have a letter that you wrote to us. That's
yeah,
not
sure.
normal, but I don't know.
Well, sure. I guess I could give it a read.
Sure.
Let's see. What do I have here? Hey guys, it's Geoff. I really miss you. Last summer was the best summer of my life. We made a lot of friends, and we lost a really good one, Tommy, who took too much aspirin. I miss Tommy most of all. Matt, you remind me of Tommy. He wasn't tall like you. Not everyone can be 6'1" or 2. I've met a girl. She's mousy, but I think I love her. My feelings are complex at this moment. Please don't write to me anymore. I'll think of you fondly. I am joining the French Foreign Legion. Goodbye. Geoff.
Wow.
So I have a question. Is
Yeah.
the mousy girl, is that your wife you're describing as mousy, or did you meet a new girl who is mousy?
So
And is mousy good? do women like being called mousy? That's not really a question for you. That's a question for our listeners.
so make sure to sound off in the chat if you find mousy to be a positive or negative trait.
Whose letter did you like the most?
And we're also going to have a vote at the end whether or not this intervention was successful. I personally feel after reading my letter, I now know what commitment to the bit is. And I got to say, I'm not a fan.
We're going to pass.
Yeah, it's ooh. So what else do you have for us today, Matt?
Well, I have some more letters, but I think we'll skip those.
Yeah.
Thinking I might do a 7:00 movie tonight.
Ooh, what are you thinking?
Looking at movie times. Yeah, I don't know. This isn't really interesting, but I'm just looking at new things.
Is it Jojo Rabbit? Is Jojo Rabbit still playing?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm sure they re-released it somewhere, but I haven't seen a movie in a while. Anyway, what are we talking about?
You said you saw the Mario movie in last.
Oh, I did.
time we
Yeah,
talked.
but that was a couple weeks ago.
Wow, that's a different
lying
definition.
is the first sign of being non-committed.
That was like
Wow.
April 9th or something, and now today
Wow.
it's May 8th.
I haven't seen a movie in the theaters in years.
Hmm.
I don't like theaters.
You don't like theaters?
I don't.
Really?
I don't like being around all those people who don't appreciate the movie as much. And I'm like, shut up. Stop
Who
chewing
don't
so loud.
appreciate the movie as much as you. I love picturing you in a movie sitting there and be like, oh, they don't like this as much as I do.
I'm watching like Mario. I'm like, shut
Last
up.
time you and I watched Cool Runnings together, Matt, you talked through the entire thing.
Yeah, but Cool Runnings
that
is
true?
a talking movie. It's a talkie. That's
there-
why they call it that.
There's this one scene in Cool Runnings that's so fucking good where he's like, you know, Coach, I just got to ask you one thing. I'm not doing the accent, but this guy's Jamaican.
Sure.
It's just, Coach, why'd you cheat? And he's like, I just got to know. And he's like, Darius, I think his name is Darius. I can't quite remember. A gold medal is a beautiful thing, but if you're nothing without one, if you're not enough without one, you won't be enough with one. It's like, how will I know I'm enough, Coach? And he's like, when you cross that finish line, then you'll know.
What?
That sounds like commitment.
Well, actually, that sounds a lot like he just is like, once you win, you'll know. You'll know.
Well, Matt,
Well, see-
considering that you're
I guess that makes
faithless, I
sense.
guess you wouldn't understand what commitment looks like.
Yeah, that's a good point. So take it away,
Wait,
Jeff.
what did you say? Considering he's fake, what did you say?
Faithless. He has
Faith-
no
oh.
fidelity. He has no fidelity
No fidelity
towards friends, family, loved
I'm
ones.
sure he has like Wi-Fi or something.
A wireless fidelity, Christian?
Yeah.
Because that's the weakest kind of fidelity.
No,
Of
but
all the
I was-
fidelities.
I was having this conversation with Justin and Kelly
From the Countdown Improv Festival?
from the Countdown Improv Festival happening
Wow.
in
Big improv heads will know.
August.
When's that?
August 9th through
No.
12th.
Oh, sorry. I
Did
thought
we
we'd have
say?
the dates up. I
I,
thought this was going to be a nice like little promo to sneak in there.
hey, I bet it is happening August 9th through 12th.
Hey, but it's in the historic
Yes.
Ivor, what is it, HCC campus in Ivor City, right?
Exactly. Over 70 acts
Are
from
we
all over the
performing?
country.
Probably.
That was a total guess. I think 70 was about right, though.
I'm sure prove us wrong by going to the Countdown
Yeah.
Improv Festival
Yeah.
and counting the acts.
And by the way, Justin and Kelly aren't going to prove us wrong because they don't listen to this.
And they've made that explicitly clear.
Yeah. But I was having this conversation, and because I don't know if the listeners know, but we are opening a comedy theater in Ybor, and we were talking about sort of programming philosophies and everything. And I kind of was like, actually, what's the biggest sort of tentpole of your improv philosophy? And they both were like, sat with it for a second, and we're like, commitment. People don't commit to things. And I felt personally slighted when they said that.
Sure.
No, but it made me think of like, well, there's so many different ways to commit in scenes. And I don't think the way that we commit is the way that most people think of commitment in a scene
Yeah.
as being a positive. But I do think we commit the hell out of it,
Yeah.
right?
I think at our best we do. I mean, we have moments of weakness. There are times where, we are taken by the temptation to forego
Yeah.
that commitment. But
We
I would
have
say,
like one more cheeseburger than we should have had that day, but oh boy, was it good!
yeah, it genuinely
So
it is an
many
energy
cheeseburgers.
thing.
Sorry,
isn't it?
I didn't eat lunch. That I just
You
have
didn't eat lunch? It's 4:00 your time.
Chicago has such
established.
good hot dogs. Have a Chicago dog.
Have a Philly cheesesteak. They have really good Philly cheesesteaks as well.
Have a New York slice. Chicago is known for its New York slice.
Have an Alabama crawdad.
An Alabama crawdad.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, have a French Beijing duck.
Have a Wisconsin the
Moscow mule.
eggplant. Oh
Okay,
yeah,
mine was
Moscow
better.
mule.
Oh, shit.
Um,
Anyway, but yeah, there are many ways to commit to things, though.
so the normal way of committing, right? Is like, how would
Stick
you
with
describe
it.
that?
Stick with
Yeah.
it, like run it out. It's sort of like follow through, almost like it's like almost like when I
it's-
think of like sports when I think of it when they're like, oh, run it out, like run through the base kind of a thing. Like when they
But
say.
it's only noteworthy when you when you really hit the point where most people would be like, you got to cross the finish line. You know, that's what makes a commitment.
Right.
Otherwise, it's because anyone can commit to, oh, I'm a boring dad. Like, I mean, I
Right.
guess actually, no, that there's, I don't know, because there's two ways to approach it, right? There's either how involved are you? Like, are you all in? And then
Right.
the other side of it is, are you like going that extra mile where most people wouldn't? And those are kind of two different ways to, I mean, they're kind of essentially coming from the same place, but there's two different ways to look at commitment, I think. And,
Yeah.
you
I mean, I
know,
feel like there's surface level commitment, which is like, are you in character or
Right.
whatever? And then there's
Right.
other stuff.
Right,
There's
right, right.
other like things that bubble throughout a scene where it's like, are you committing to the reality that you're creating? And not
Right.
even the reality, but like are you committing to the thing that you're creating, right? Like
Right.
think Andy Kaufman. Andy Kaufman always gets brought up as like king of commitment on stage. His Mighty Mouse bit that he does, you know, where everybody's silent and he puts on that little record and it plays the Mighty Mouse theme song and he just sings along to the one part where you know, whatever. So he's just standing there, and it's like you're saying, it's past that threshold where
Yeah.
it's that classic, oh, nobody's laughing. Now some people are laughing. Everybody's stopped laughing because it's gone
Yeah.
this weird length, and now everybody's blowing up laughing because
Right.
it was brought to that
Crossing the
final
desert.
thing.
Do you-
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
think, but what do you think about, I mean, the dark side of commitment when you commit to something that
Like
maybe you
hate?
shouldn't? Like
Yeah.
hate. What happens when you commit to hate on stage,
Yeah.
Matt?
Well, hate leads to anger.
And anger leads to suffering.
Exactly.
Mm.
And suffering.
What was that?
Hmm?
Oh, Christian
I
just
just
finally got that hamburger he wanted.
No, I fucking wish.
Mm. If you made that sound every time
Chomp?
you ate something you liked, yum.
Mm.
Sounds like
The-
a character in an RTS. Food.
Food.
But
Lumber.
yeah, it's funny because I don't think of myself necessarily as someone who commits in the traditional way, like in the sense that, like, at least in improv scenes, I am very willing to end a scene and be like, fuck this, I'm done. Like, I am very
Yeah.
quick to walk away from things in the moment of a scene. I think where I do prioritize commitment is more in like emotional verisimilitude and like just the committing in a more philosophical sense, but like logistically, I am willing to walk away at a moment's notice. Like, I'm willing
Yeah.
to be like, nah, this bit is done. I've reached it. You know, it's where I want it to be. I'm willing to walk away from it.
Well, yeah, I do think that's kind of what I mean, though, by the dark side of commitment is like, you know, you have someone who's screaming on stage and it's like, I guess they took it there, but that was unpleasant.
Right.
It needs to not.
Yeah, because I do think, like, you know, as much as like artistically, I think it is satisfying to say commit to everything and it'll go really well. I think sometimes it's just like, you know, there's things where it's like, nah. I think the editing process can be a very important
Oh, yeah.
process of any artistic work, and so I think being like, you know what, we don't need to commit to that. Because it's like a opportunity cost thing where anything you do commit to means you're not committing to some, you know, kind of means you're not doing something else. So like, I
Yeah.
am sort of more choosy, I think, and like what I
Yeah.
choose to commit to.
Do you think it's like, do you think that we eventually just figure out the stuff that has legs for commitment, you know?
Yeah, I do. I think it's sort of that thing where like you have to build on like solid foundation,
Yeah.
on whatever it is. So it's like, you know, if you build and commit and heighten off of something that's like solid, it'll be really good. And that's not to say that you can't, like you said. I mean, sometimes there is that thing of where you start with something, you commit to it, and it does get really funny. And I think then it's more you're building upon your natural skills as a performer.
Yeah.
But I still think sometimes it's like you just got to know when you want to commit to something and know when you don't.
Yeah.
I think it's that thing too of like knowing a lot of, it's like the notes you don't play kind of thing. It's like a bit of a stereotype, but it's like
Huh.
there is an art to not coming out just as much as knowing when to come out. Um,
I always think of the Andy Kaufman thing again. I mean, he just is brought up all the time. But at what point do you think he learned how long that bit should be?
right.
You know what I mean?
Because there is an end to it.
Right.
It doesn't go forever. Yeah.
And it's like, I wonder if it would be effective, or if he realized it would be effective after doing it just once, if he committed to it, as opposed to just doing the joke where everybody
Right.
laughs and then swipe the scene, so to speak, you know?
But it's like, but I mean, it's like anything in improv. I mean, there's always going to be a right and wrong time and place. There's different audiences. I mean, I think if you did that bit with just like one person in the room, that would probably suck. Of course, doing improv in front of just one person is never really that enjoyable.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if he'd do that in front of one person. I don't
think he
know.
might.
But I'm just saying, like, do you think it's more innate, like, of where to take it?
Well, I think
or
one
is
of
that
the
learned?
I think one of the tricks about improv, like any improv performance you're seeing, is that so much of those commitments is in the reps. It's in like the work
Yeah.
you've done over years. It's like commitment is like this like philosophical thing that you do every time, acknowledging that there's going to be times you commit to things and they're just gonna not. They're not going to play, but you commit to them anyway. So I do think like the improviser who's done that though 1,000 times does get a sense of like, well, here's when I want to commit hard. Here's where maybe I want to move on to something else. And a lot of that is in like the moments that you never saw, because that's just the person working on their craft.
Yeah.
But
well, that brings me to another idea is could you teach someone to commit to a thing? Do you think commitment can be taught?
yeah,
But-
yeah,
well,
I do.
Socrates asks in the Meno if virtue can be taught. And, I think the questions are very similar in several regards.
And
The
what
answer
were
to
the
both is
answers?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you
Socrates said yes.
Of course.
Moving on.
What are you,
Held
big
close,
dummy?
said yep.
Yeah, it's not as hard as people think. Although I actually don't hear many people even make any analysis of Plato in my day to day.
I mean, I do think though you can give the note, hey, like commit more, and if if you're with a student who is willing to take notes and willing to internalize that, they're going to do it, and they're going to try it, and there's no guarantee it works, every time. But if you do that over a long enough career,
Well,
you'll get better.
they both come from. Or sorry, they both. I didn't even say what I'm talking about. Commitment and confidence both come from the same etymological root of co.
Oh, that's interesting.
And
No, I meant that legitimately.
I think Geoff just made that up.
co is just two letters. It's just,
No,
I
it's
guess
because it did
they
seem
do
like
share the
bullshit, but I
prefix,
thought you.
No, I do think that commitment and confidence do share a relationship.
Okay, well then what's the? I'm sorry. Why would I listen to the rest of this if it's built off of something that's simply bullshit?
Because it was said with confidence, and that's a sign of commitment.
Yeah.
Because you need to but it's true. You need to have confidence in the thing you are doing in order to commit to it. Because if you are going through the whole thing and you're like, this is awful, this is garbage, this isn't good, you're not really going to be able to commit to it. You might,
Right.
but the audience will know. Most of the audience will know.
Yeah, but it's
you
also
know?
like a flip side too. You in order, because you said you have to have confidence to commit, but it's like you also have to commit to have confidence.
Yeah,
It's
it's
almost
an
like
Ouroboros.
Boy, we talk about that snake eating its own tail a lot.
if you
Isn't
just
that funny?
That should be the logo for this podcast.
Oh shit, we should just change our name to Ouroboros.
I mean, it's pretty good. It's another animal. Yeah, we could just
sound at the front. Ouroboros.
what?
You know,
Ouroboros?
I
No, I'm
actually,
a Boros.
I actually just
what I
listened
said.
to a podcast where they talked about this.
the
and-
pronunciation.
Yes, and Jason Mantzoukas was saying it so wrong. He was
What
like,
was he saying?
I can't even remember what it was. It was like, it doesn't make sense how he was saying it.
I walked past him once on the street.
Ouroboros or whatever.
Ouroboros.
Yeah. It was very funny.
Okay, so it starts with a "y" sound. I think that
No, I think
that
they-
Well,
answers
no,
it.
I think he was wrong.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
Not
he
about
was
that
wrong.
part.
If
That
Jason
syllable was
Mantzoukas
right.
told you to walk off a bridge, would you do it?
It depends on how he pronounces Ouroboros.
Ouroboros.
Hey, Geoff, would you walk off this bridge?
Sure.
Oh, no. I'm not. I guess I'm not Jason Mantzoukas.
No.
What do you think
matter.
about commitment to your friends? especially when they're in times of need and you know.
Well, that's all we have for this episode, Cowboys. Thanks for listening.
And thanks for staying committed.
Yeah, committing to us. Look, we'd buy you a ring. I promise. We're shuffling things around right now.
But we need more signs of commitment. So
Like,
if
I mean, you could
flowers.
buy yourself flowers if you want them.
No.
I'm not gonna.
we demand a sacrifice.
Yeah, anyone over the age of 80, like, we get it. You don't want to sacrifice a 20-year-old. They got their lives ahead of them. 80-year-olds or higher. Honestly, if you want to go to God, the retirement home and
Yeah, all right. Well, that's all the time we have today, Cowboys.
Yeah, I
You
don't
know,
sign off on that one.
This has been a blast. We've had a lot of fun. Stay committed. Commit to your friends. Commit to improv. Commit to your loved ones, and most of all, commit to Minions saying bananas.
If you're
since
thinking about
2010.
it, pop the question. Go for it. You know,
Yeah.
if that's on your mind,
Ask us. We might
Go
say
for
yes.
it.
You don't know
yeah, as long as you kneel, because I need that.
before us.
Yeah. All right.
Neil.
Yippee-ki-yay, cowboy.
Yeehaw. Pew,
Giddy
pew,
up.
pew, pew, pew.
Hi, I'm Christian Torres from Wallares. If you're interested in supporting this show, the best thing that you can do is rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Make sure to check out Wallares.com, that's Wallares, for a full list of our socials, including Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Stay tuned for news about any live shows that we may have, and new episodes of Little Bits and Pieces come out every Thursday wherever you get your podcasts.
The show you've just listened to is a part of the Podfix Network. To listen to other shows on the network, head over to podfixnetwork.com. Follow on Twitter @Podfix and join the Podfix Nation at facebook.com/Podfix.